guys, it's Manager Kylie, and in today's video, I'm going to go through the rules of 10-pin bowling. So 10-pin bowling is actually the most common type of bowling that is used around the globe, and today I'm going to go through the rules of bowling and specifically more the competitive rules of bowling, so if you were bowling competitively. But if you guys are interested in more sports administration videos just like this, definitely hit the subscribe button, turn the bell so you get notified every time I upload, as opposed to a new video every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now the basic rule of bowling is to knock down more pins than your opponent. This can be done just straight by knocking down pins or really getting spares and strikes to help boost your score. Bowling is played on a lane. Lanes are 60 feet by 42 inches wide. Each lane does have gutters on the side, and the pins themselves are 15 inches tall. Now the pins are positioned in a triangle pattern, and each pin does have a number 1 through 10. And bowlers use a heavy ball that has 3 finger holes in it to try and knock down those pins. Now when a bowler is actually bowling the ball, they have 15 feet to approach before they reach the foul line, which is the beginning of the lane. And they do hold the bowling ball with their 3 fingers in those 3 holes. Now the game itself is played in 10 frames, and each frame the bowler has 2 balls to roll in that frame. Except for the 10th frame, you could end up rolling 3 balls in the 10th frame, and I'll explain more on that later. And bowlers do switch off, each person rolling a frame. So one bowler will roll their full frame, and then the next one will go. So one type of frame you could get is an open frame, and this is when you don't complete all 10 pins. So if you only roll 9 pins down, or if you only get 7, you usually get 2 numbers. So this could be a 4 and a 5, a 3 and a 6. You don't get that full 10 pins down. That is considered an open frame. You also have spares. So this is when you use both your 2 rolls to get down all 10 pins. So you may get like a 6 on the first one, and then you get those 4 pins down on the next frame. And then your third option is a strike, and this is when you get all 10 pins down with that first roll. And now the scoring is depending on the type of frame you get. So if you get an open frame, you just get the total number of pins that you roll down. If you get a spare, you do get 10 pins for that round, plus the total number of pins you get down for the next roll. And then if you get a strike, you get 10 pins plus the number of points you get down for the next 2 rolls. And if you have more questions on the scoring, I will have a video linked up in the iCard going into the details of how scoring in bowling works and going through some different examples. And the goal of players is to maximize the number of pins they're able to get down with each roll. This might be why you see players kind of roll the ball at an angle. They might look a little funny when they're rolling it. Their goal is to reach the pocket, which is the sides of that first pin, the pin right at the front, that number 1 pin. Hitting that pocket optimizes the number of chances they have at getting a strike. Scientifically, that is the right place to hit it to be able to get a strike. Lanes also have oil on them, and in professionals, the oil is usually dyed blue so you can see where it is. There's different oil patterns depending on the lane, and this just helps the bowlers to understand how greased up the lane is. It's usually more oil near the front of the lane where the bowler is throwing, and then less oil as you get closer to the pins. And then there's also triangle markers on the lane to help the bowler line up their shot on where they want to be throwing. Now, bowling can be played in a few different ways. It can be played 1-on-1. It can be played 2-on-2, 3-on-3, or 4-on-4. You can have team play or just individual play. And then you can also play just men versus men and women versus women, or you can play combined with women and men playing against other women and men. Now, a few other details. If you get a foul, this is when you slide or step over that line at the start of the lane. This does count as one of your rolls, so you just get a 0 for that roll. And all the pins that you knock down with that roll are just reset. You also can't knock down pins if your ball goes into the gutter. So if your ball goes into the gutter and knocks down pins, or if it was to bounce off of the side or back by the pins and knock down some pins, you do not get those pins and they are just reset. Now, one other thing that you might get when rolling is a split. And this is when there is a gap between the 2 different pins or multiple different pins that you have up. It's common to have a 7-10 split, and this is when you have the 2 back corners left. And these just make it very complicated to be able to get that spare. It's very hard to get both pins down. It's not impossible to get them both down, but having a split makes it very hard to get both sets of pins down in one throw. Now, your goal of bowling is to score that perfect score of 300. This is rolling 12 strikes in a row, because in that that last frame, if you do bowl a strike, because you get 2 extra rolls after every strike to count up the total number of points, you do get to roll those 2 other balls, making it 12 strikes needed to roll a perfect score. Now that is something that is very hard to do, but that is many people's goal when bowling. But if you guys have any other questions about scoring, definitely check out that video up in the iCard. If you have any questions about the rules of bowling, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.